Hello and welcome to Visions of War. Today we're going to be talking about our top 15 defenses for war with the new season in mind for war. These were voted upon by my alliance mates and alliance officers through our 10 alliances within Titans of Yggdrasil. So the points came out pretty good. I don't think there's a lot of adjustments. I think a lot of people put their heart into some of the ones towards the bottom being more of an offensive team, possibly a sacrifice, or actually using to beat some teams on offense. And that's kind of why their points for a defensive unit fell, which is fair. And I think that's totally accurate how we play this game. Is we have our teams that might be good on defense, but we'd actually rather play with them on offense. And so that's why they kind of come in towards the bottom, even though they are pretty strong as being a defensive team. So with that in mind, we are going to pop on to the teams. I'm going to put them in order, like I do, from the best war defense to what I believe is the 15th war defense. I'm not going to lead up and whatever. If you want to watch the first 10 and put them on, that's up to you. Otherwise, watch the full thing. It'd be great. I would love it. It does give me some more views. So anyways, and shout out to my wife also for helping me with the graphics of this and for this really cool little thing that's up there on the screen. She made with like some AI stuff, so it's pretty cool. There's not actual people, so don't read into it as like these are going to be the next people released, because they are not. This is something that's created by her. So anyways, we're going to hop right into the teams. Number one, coming in with the top war defense, and remember these also can be manipulated, adding of course apox, so on and so forth to make them even stronger. And that first team is going to be Secret Defenders. Secret Defenders is very good defense. It in its standard form is definitely counterable pretty easy. But when you do add things like APOC to it, it can be very difficult to beat. Very limited counters. And its standard form is Underworld. As you go forward, you got to add things like Apocalypse, countering with a mirror, things like that. There's Sus Offenders, which are absolutely amazing. They work very well on defense to stop a lot of teams, but there is some hard counters to that as well. And also Doom Offenders, which is one that can blow up in your face if you're not careful. So you need to watch out for that. So our next team on defense is going to be New Avengers. So New Avengers is also going to get some love in this next war season. Oh, I forgot to mention as well, Doctor Strange and Photon are Hero Cosmic, so they will get a buff in this next season, much as Thing is Hero Cosmic. So your Thing is going to be doing a lot of damage. Him and his, counter attacking every time you hit one of them is going to deal a crap ton of damage. His health pool is going up. All his primary stats go up because of the boosts in the different rooms that are global boosts. So you're going to see that happen, and it's going to be an interesting team to put on the layout. The layout that I have here is pretty much one that I'm going to be using this next season so that he's not taking as much damage, but he's actually putting back the damage to the person that's trying to hit it. We'll see what's the best, but for right now, this is pretty much this or Coulson next to Tigra are going to be the two layouts that I'm probably going to be using. Next on the list is going to be one that we can also use on offense. It's a very viable team both ways, and that's Doc 6. So this is the standard Doc 6. This is with Rhino. This is a layout you could use. You could also put Vulture next to Rhino because Vulture blocks quite a bit and takes a lot of damage. And it just kind of forces the person to get through Rhino first in order to get to your Doc Ock or your Green Goblin once he taunts. The other version of this one, of course, is the new Superior 6, which is a phenomenal team to be putting on defense. Limited counters, very hard to get through. Has a pesky taunt with Lizard that constantly triggers, removes buffs, adds buffs, gets safeguard, puts trauma, just It's nuts. And then even if you go in stealth, you're not safe because Craven wants to jump by with his acrobatic flips and take you out there. So, yeah, Doc 6, Soup 6. I'm coupling them together. They could be split. You could do two different teams and have that secondary 6 team. And do Soup 6 with the leftovers is another one. Very, very, very easily could do that. And you just add Doom to the already almost all tech team and do it that way. And it's totally viable. But that's the great thing about the Sinister 6 or the Sinister 12 is because they are so cool with manipulating and putting in different variations. What's up, Run? Doing a video. How's it going, buddy? Thanks for the raid. So yeah, Soup 6. All right, so next on the list coming up is Extreme X-Men. So Extreme X-Men, very tough team to get through on defense. There's a few counters, but as we start to see stars going up more and more on Sunspot and Nightcrawler, they're going to be more of a nightmare to get through. And Forge. Forge, if you don't get to him soon, his heals really take over and make it so it's a difficult team to get through. I would recommend going through Forge first, and the way to do that to make it so it's harder to get to Forge is by either putting APOC there, putting Rogue there. So if this is something coming up in the next season, if you're going to be putting Extreme X-Men on defense, remember Hero Cosmic is going to be one of the buffs in the new rooms. Using Bishop, he is Hero Cosmic as your pre-taunt. Instead of using Rogue, might be an option you want to go with, especially those of us that have played here for a while, that have Astonishing X-Men leveled up, that Bishop's not one of those tunes getting a new rework with the new team with Phoenix and Colossus and the Astonishing X-Men. So Bishop might be somebody you'd want to put in there instead for that pre-taunt, just to get him to stay away from Forge. Very solid defense. Very easy to build. A good team to build because you're using it in raids as well, so it's not just for one mode, which can be kind of a pain in the butt when you're only building for one mode. All right, so the next team for war defense is only as high as it is because we are assuming these buffs that are going in are going to make it really good, and that's New Warriors. New Warriors has been kind of like on the shelf for a long time because of the fact that they're really not that hard to get through on war defense. But with the new buffs coming out, giving them safeguard and regen and speed, plus the health and all that stuff, it's going to make them a tough team to get through. And right off the bat, you're probably going to get some wins with it, especially if yours are well built like this one is. It's going to get some defensive wins. And a lot of these screenshots, by the way, they're not mine. They're from Alliance members. Like I said, my Alliance family helped out get me screenshots and stuff for this video, and I appreciate all you guys. Titans Yggdrasil, you guys rule. So anyways, so yeah, New Warriors, they are going to be probably a tough team to beat for a little while, and then once we figure them out, it'll probably be a little easier. I'm probably thinking War Dogs would be one of the teams to kind of take them on, but we'll see. Next is Infestation. It's pesky, man. It's one of those teams that just like if you don't do it right or if you don't use the counter right and you hit big time Spider-Man a couple extra times, it can really tear you apart. It has counters that are pretty easy to counter it. Nowhere Doc 6, pretty easy counters into it. The Buzz Off, the one with Kang, Tangled, and the speed stuff. I mean, that's one you can get through with the secondary 6. You can get through with it okay. But yeah, if you don't hit it right, it comes back to haunt you. Or if the stealths go in a different direction and you're having to hit with an adjacent and hit into big time, it can come back to get you. So it's a tricky team. It's the reason why I got put at number 6 as far as war defense is, just because it is tricky. It does have counters, but it is a good team. Next is Gamma. Can you believe Gamma is the 7th best war defense? It's insane. I mean, we have multiple counters for it now. It's one that we don't see on defense very often, and when we do, it's like, hey, I want that one. It's kind of like what Rebirth was at the starting of this, you know. It's Rebirth at the starting of this one was like, okay, I can go through and I can punch up 1,000,000. Gamma has become that team. You go through and like, okay, I could punch up 1,000,000 on it. So Gamma slid all the way down to 7. So yeah, kind of sad. Anyways, next on defense, Darkhold. Darkhold goes right behind it because of the fact that you can change it around a lot. You can take Darkhold, you can add APOC to it, make it something that's way better than what it was. A very hard team to beat. You can add Quicksilver to it, make it so there's no component there that has a little bit more speed, takes extra turns, slows you down. You got to be able to, go with that and play with that. You can add Chavez to it to speed up, the Heartless, to speed up MILF, to make it so that, they're taking turns out of the normal order, so you're not used to it. And then you can add a tune, of course, like Dorm, make it so they get revives, and you're having to go through something that takes away revives or just account for those to perma-kill them so they don't come back. So, yeah, Darkhold. Darkhold is a good team still, still viable. Still something you can put on defense or you can use on offense, your choice. But we have it as the number 8 defense. You have 10 rooms in your defensive rooms. So number 8 defense, if you're going to just go full turtle, this is one of those teams. All right, the next team, also they have, they don't have any hero cosmic, but if you put Chavez on there, she is hero cosmic. So she gets those extra buffs for this season too. So on to the next one. The next one is going to be all hero cosmic. So it's another one of those kind of like New Warriors that has been like a lot of counters in the past, but now it might change. And now it might have some other things just because of the stat boost that it's going to get. And that's the hero Asgard. So this is the standard version. Just, straight up hero Asgard with Valkyrie, Mighty Thor, Sif, and Heimdall. But usually you're going to see one of these other ones that is with Val and Better Ray Bill. It just has those revives built into Val, and she's always looking like this, super tanky. And so you got to get through her, and you got to make sure that she dies before she brings everybody back. Or you see this new version with Dorm. Still keeping Valkyrie in there and Mighty Thor, but Dorm's able to revive them, so you got to kill her twice now and hope that she doesn't bring them back. And she's getting all the charges and the ability blocks, and oh my gosh, yeah, it could be a pain. So yeah, and with the new buffs being hero cosmic, you're probably going to see this team quite a bit, and it's probably going to be very hard to get through. Good team to have it on defense, though. If you're building D, definitely one of those that I think this next season is going to be a surprise hit. So hero Asgard in all of its wonderful forms. So the next one is an oldie but a goodie. Used to be like the be all for war defense and is still there till this day. Has a lot of counters, but it still holds its own. It's got a lot of different forms, and that's Heroes for Hire. So if you build Heroes for Hire for defense, make sure you have the 4 main tunes. You could take out either Luke Cage or Iron Fist, but not both, because you have to have at least 4. And keeping Colleen, Misty, and Shang on there just makes sure that you're going to have all those charges. The charges cause the revive, so that you're not removing revive when you attack it. You're actually removing the charges when it drops. So it's a little different. Still makes it a pretty good defense, and you see some of these built to the hilt, like 2 million powered Heroes for Hire. We got a guy in our alliance, Dre Nasty, that has one that's over 2.3 million, and it's just a standard Heroes for Hire, and it still wrecks nerds. So there's variations to this. We're seeing this season, which isn't very long from now. It might be over by the time this gets out with Cap Sam. But even without the buffs for Cap Sam in the war season that we're currently having, he does do things like ability energy. He does do the taunt. He does remove buffs. Like, he is pretty tanky, and some people haven't built to the hilt. So it is something you'll see. Another variation of this, of course, is Red Guardian. However, like I said before, this being Hero Cosmic season, a pre-taunting that happens to be Hero Cosmic is Bishop. Bishop might be a go-to for a lot of these teams putting on defense as a pre-taunting tank, rather than somebody like Red Guardian or Abman, or even some people like to put the Zombie Juggernaut on there for defense, or Drax. yeah, you might want to look into building up your bishop a little bit, or if you're one of those people that have astonishing X-Men built up because of the old Doom raids, then that might be something you want to look into as well. Another version of Heroes for Hire is with Quicksilver. This is a sneaky little booger. And if your Quicksilver is built like this guy is, it does some damage and it surprises even when you're using like Dark Hunters to beat it. A-Force kind of still does its thing, Photon Force or P-Force or whatever you want to call it. Still does its thing. Dark Hunters does its thing, but it's a little trickier. I like using Dorm Hunters when I use Dark Hunters. It just makes it for a little bit more stable of an attack, but I can understand the other way around. But yeah, Quicksilver added to the mix kind of does some things. And like you can see, you keep the 4 base or the 3 base plus 1 hero for hire. This one took out Iron Fist. You can also do Luke Cage, not have any taunters, and really just make them decide what they're going to do. Pick your poison. So yeah, so the next video or the next defense that we're getting into is one that actually I think dropped down below something like a Heroes for Hire, is because of the fact that people use it on offense, but it is a very strong defensive team as well. Only has a few limited counters, and that is Pegasus. So, and it's mostly because of Kestrel. You really have to account for her, know where she is at all times, hope that she doesn't get brought back by rescue, and hope that they don't outspeed you all of a sudden out of nowhere, put a bunch of buffs on themselves, and crank out your team. Believe me, it's happened to me, and it's not a fun thing to do. You can use them with APOC to take out like a new Avengers. You can use them to take out any of those invaders or anything like that, which are going to be coming up in a while. So using them on offense is good. Young Avengers is another one you could take to beat. They can beat. So it's a reason why it's down here at the bottom. Not because it's not good, but because it's used on offense a lot too. All right, next team is Death Seed. So, I mean, you built them, might as well use them, right? We don't really use them on offense. What are you going to use them against? You know, the invaders? We already said there's like 3 different teams. And if you look at my war offense teams, you can see there's a bunch of teams that take out the teams that they do. So there's kind of just a repetitive thing or a redundant thing. So putting them on defense is good, especially when you can add somebody to them like APOC if you're not using them on offense. APOC really makes this team change a lot and really does some things to Archangel to make it so that he can do some extra stuff because he's, you know, one of those horsemen. Yeah, I don't have to read the kits because I know, you know, these guys are good, and it's something that you've done with this team. You've built it up. You've earned your APOC. Might as well flash it and put it out there on defense. With APOC or with Emma. Yeah, it's small. There you go. Or with Emma. Also speeds them up, lets them do some different things, makes it a little bit harder of a counter. But they're a good defense, but this is why they're down at number 12. So number 13, this is one that's been around for a long time. There's a lot of different variations to it. That's Young Avengers. So Young Avengers, woo, that one got big. Young Avengers, you can take out America Chavez, even though, like I said, she's Hero Cosmic, so she's going to get buffs. But you can take her out. You can move her different places, too, and speed up different people. This one's sped up Kate Bishop only. You could put her in between Kate Bishop and Echo to speed them both up. You could put it in between Squirrel Girl and somebody to speed them up. You could take America Chavez off altogether and put Miles Morales in there if you want some Disrupted to go off the bat. You could put Dormammu on there to give him some revives. There's all kinds of things you can do. You can do Symbiote Spider-Man because he's a hero brawler to get that extra attack. You could put Void Knight there because of the fact that he's a hero brawler to do some extra attack. Like, there's some crazy stuff you can do with the team, but they're easily counterable. You have some stuff to it that they just can't get around. Kate Bishop avoids being blinded. She has that extra accuracy, but you can outspeed them, you can out-tank them, you can beat them down because they are an older meta, so their health pool isn't as great as some of the newer stuff. But they're a good solid team to put on defense if you don't have other options, especially if you're newer account that's building up that has these, you know, unlocked from the Blitz store and stuff. Put them on defense, you know, like get some use out of them while you got them there. They're also one of those city. Some of them are the city heroes that you can get the bonuses for in the different monthly events. So a lot of people have them built up. And Squirrel Girl's been one of those healers forever that does her job. So you got to account for her when you're playing this match, but it's pretty easily controllable. All right, so we're on number 14, 2 to go. So number 14 is another one of those that the reason why it's down here is because it's a good offensive team, but also the reason why I put it on defense, period, and I think that it's more of an offensive team to use, is because that it has Hero Cosmic on all 4 out of 5 of their members, and that's Infinity Watch. Infinity Watch, other than Nebula, is going to be Hero Cosmic. So Hero Cosmic gets all those buffs this next season. So it's one of those, do I want to use it for offense still, or do I want to put it on defense? They're a good team. It's a team that's been around forever. They still hold their own. They still do some fun things. You can still punch up on like Black Order and stuff like that. It's really tough to take up the Heroes for Hire and stuff with them. They don't really do that as well as they used to, but punching up on something that's non-meta, they do the job. Using it as a sacrifice against a big Dorm or a big Sus or a big APOC, they do their job. So they're a good team to have on offense, but if you have other options, which, we have so many tunes now, there's tons of options. But if you do, then put them on defense, because they will, hold up on somebody and they'll make them have to use certain counters to be able to beat it or mirror match it, which gets rid of them for them using them on offense. So last and least, this is a team nobody really wanted to build up, but they are, is Invaders. And Invaders, they were a good team, not a great team. They're used for raids, but they're going to be the next team out. So, and yeah, that's not data mine. That's not nothing like that. That's just assumption, just because of how they are. They take so long in raids to get the job done. In incursion raids, they're really kind of trash. So it's a team that if you're going to build them up anyways to do through your raids, you might as well get some use out of them. And they are absolutely shat when it comes to offense, so you might as well put them somewhere. If I was going to do this team and if I put it on defense, I don't have it on defense, but if I were to, because there's 15 options here. We only have 10 slots on D, right? So if I were going to, I'm taking out Nick Fury and I'm putting somebody like Cap Sam in there instead, just so that we don't have those summons right off the bat, so that Eternals don't just come through and flip-flop and they're done. So it's a team. That's about all I can say. It's a team. It's one that I would use sparingly, but if you have to build it, and if you're building raid teams first, slap it on defense, because it's going to get some use, because you're not going to use it on offense. So this will help it so that you can actually do something with it. So those are my teams. Those are who I have for defense. That's what our alliances and our family of alliances came through as the top 15. And I appreciate the voting. It was pretty close as you went down. Secret Defenders had 202 total points to the Invaders having a whopping 48. So, I mean, it was pretty accurate as we went through. I really agreed with some of the points that they had brought up. And just remember, your sleepers this next war defensive season are going to be Bishop, being a Hero Cosmic, your new Warriors, just with all the buffs they have, and then teams like Hero Hasgard and Infinity Watch having the Hero Cosmic. So thank you very much for watching. Please put some comments in the video. Please like and subscribe. Thanks, Commander X. Appreciate that. Come to my stream. They get to do fun things like making fun of me. But yeah, please leave a comment, subscribe, like, do all that fun stuff. I will make sure to comment back. And if you subscribe to me, I subscribe to you. So I think that's a fair trade. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Peace.